Die Brücke. This group, whose name means the bridge, was founded by 4 architecture students who were untrained in art except for private drawing lessons. They wanted to break boundaries in art. The art of Die Brücke remained strongly figurative, often depicting figures in a landscape. They used angular, rhythmical areas of flat and often violently clashing colors in a constrained pictorial space. Both pictures contain 2 figures at the front of the pictorial space, while the Kirchner self-portrait is characteristically Die Brücke in its use of angular areas of flat, bright color and shallow space. The gross figures on the right appear mechanical and are set in front of a dense array of architectural forms. Both depict the same narrative in religious history. In both, all the figures occupy dark, shallow space near the picture plane. Application of the paint, however, differs, with the 20th century picture featuring visible brushwork and bold colors that flatten the figures, while the 16th century picture models the figures in more muted tones so as to appear more fully 3-dimensional. While the materials differ, marble in the Brancusi and wood in the mask, the portrait head of Madame Pogani is inspired by the abstracted, ovate forms of the mask. While the painting techniques differ here, presumably Turner used much finer brushes than did Kandinsky, the sense of combustion is evident in both. Constructivism was a movement that originated in Russia circa 1914. It grew after the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 and spread to the West in the 1920s. It features abstraction and uses industrial materials such as glass, plastic, and standardized metal parts. This technique constructs sculpture from separate elements as opposed to modeling or carving from a solid material. Both painters have rejected prior emphasis of giving the illusion of 3 dimensions on a 2-dimensional surface, replacing that with an arrangement of geometric forms on the picture plane. Malevich adds a dynamic element by turning the composition 30 degrees, while Mondrian's painting evokes the structural stability of a building viewed in section. Here is a good example of how early 20th century artists admired and emulated the simplification of facial features evident in African masks, slits for eyes, narrow noses, and small pursed mouths. While Gobbo's head is made of sheet metal set into boards that evoke a pop-up book, the mask is a disc of painted wood. Mondrian began as a figurative painter, but his desire to innovate led him to the pure abstraction of his signature gridded compositions of black bars dividing solid rectangles of color. The Rietveld armchair does almost the same thing by exploding the painting into a 3-dimensional form.